Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Outside the Rally. I'm your host, Dean Bear. Tonight, we have a special edition. I'll be joined by Kane Waselenchuk. We'll be discussing the topic that has run wild on social media. Let's get right to it. Kane Waselenchuk, welcome to Outside the Rally. Before we get started, how are you? How's the family? Everybody safe and sound?
Yes, everybody's good. Everybody's good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me. I always appreciate it. I always enjoy being on here. But yes, everybody is good. How about you over there?
Everything's good. We still cannot play indoor racquetball. Not happy about that. But have
that's not why we're here, is it?
We have outdoor racquetball here. So let's get right to it. Question. The talk is about three wall in Vegas. So my first question is extremely simple. Do you even know the rules of three wall? Because I don't.
Yeah, so the answer is no, I don't. I actually played three wall back about 30 years ago. That's the only time that I've played outdoor racquetball. I was actually in Kelowna for the Alberta junior team.
We had a juniors. Juniors. That's a long time.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit of time.
Okay, so it's also, and I don't know if you have any courts by you, but I know on the East Coast, I don't know of any real three-wall courts that are very similar to the walls that are played in Vegas. So if you can't even practice this type of game, why would you consider playing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, good. Look, when this all came about, it was really simple. It was really about having fun for me. And in a time of where there's not really much to look forward to in racquetball, I know in the past that there's been a lot of talk about me playing, and of course I haven't played. But I thought that maybe I would entertain it a little bit more based on the fact of obviously the indoor game and kind of things on hold with the tour, and I just thought that it would add some excitement to racquetball in general.
100% agree. But I must admit, Kane, I'm looking at the differences in the game, and I personally think someone going from indoor racquetball to even outdoor one wall or three wall, I think that they would have an easier time adjusting than if you went from outdoor to indoor. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, speaking for myself, I think that if you were to take outdoor, any outdoor player and bring them indoor and play me, I think that, I don't think that they would do as good as me going and playing outdoor. But, that's a little bit of my confidence in my game. And, but I don't really know too much about the game. So I can't, I know that there's been past pros that have played and excelled. And of course, the big one that comes to mind is obviously Rocky, so obviously an indoor player can have success, but I don't really know anything about the game.
Well, being considered, either the greatest player ever or one of the greatest, I'll just premise that. How far do you think your talent alone would take you in the outdoor game?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that my talent would take me far. I don't know, though. I don't know the nuances of the game. I don't really know a lot about the game. I haven't really, took the time to really dive into it. But I do feel that, my talent would, take me, pretty far. But, I think that's a pretty bold statement for me to say that, that I would go in there and, I'd win. I think that's a pretty bold statement, and I think that statement holds just as much weight as Rocky saying that he would play me one-on-one in hockey. I mean, so I don't know Rocky's hockey background, but I can, I think that you have to take it into consideration, and I think that it's flattering. It's flattering to think that a sport that I pretty much never played in my life, that I would be a contender or people are interested to see how I would do. I think that I'm kind of flattered by that. And I think that the question, of my talent, I think that everybody else is kind of, curious as well, too, because of my talent. But I also do feel like a lot of this has to do with, somebody just trying to even the playing field to see me lose, since I don't lose too often. That's kind of what the feeling I'm getting, is that it's an opportunity that I'm probably the most vulnerable for whatever reason, and people probably don't look at that side of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's a lot of controversy online over if you would go and how the outdoor pros, they're just sitting there waiting to get a piece of you. It seems today that people, sports figures in general, they really like to build someone up just so that they can kind of tear them down a little bit. Do you think that you have anything to prove by playing outdoor?
I really don't, because I didn't set out to be the best outdoor player ever, or in the world. I set out to be the best indoor player, and I mean, it's always been one of those conversations, right, as to whether if I went outdoor or not, am I considered the greatest, or and I mean, I just look at it like this. I look at it as, like, I respect all the great players, and I respect what they've done. And what we all have in common is we worked hard to get where we were, and we all have different paths. And I respect that. And one thing you'll never hear me say is, you'll never hear me say anything bad about a past champion, regardless of what I think, regardless of what my personal opinion is of that person. And I don't have any bad personal opinions of any of those great players, for the record. But they've all had their time, and I think that they would all agree that they demanded a certain amount of respect for what they've done. And I will have to say that a majority of my career has been just questioning who's the greatest. And I think a lot of people don't realize that I was around and playing the tour when Cliff broke Marty's record, of 5 world titles. I was around. I was there playing on tour, and the general consensus of after Cliff did that was that Cliff was the greatest. I didn't follow, intricately their, words of people, but I do know that I would confidently sit here and say that I think that I've probably, been in the line of fire, obviously because of my success, but it's always been a question about who's the greatest or anything like that. And I just don't ever remember the past champions having to deal with it like I have. And I guess I'm flattered by it. But I don't feel like playing outdoor defines my career, especially when it's something that I never really played in my life.
So with that said, if you played in Vegas, would you be going there to win? Would you be going there to entertain the people, or would you just be going there, for money?
I think it would be all a little bit of both, and I think that it would be, it'd be tough to prioritize all those. I'm sure when I got out there, obviously I'd want to win, but really, the reason why I'm doing it is because I have value, and obviously you can see that value because look at look at the stir that it's caused, and I've never even stepped on an outdoor racquetball court. So you could also look at it like that. And so the next time someone wants to question my relevance in the game, I think that we should just bring this situation up in general. And, like I said at the beginning, right? Like, this was supposed to be something fun that I thought that could bring the racquetball community together. And, obviously, look, I'm a business, and, that's just the way that it is. And no pro, Rocky, Cliff, any of those guys, regardless of what anybody thinks, those guys do not go and play for free. I'm sorry. So, I have a value, and regardless of it's outdoor or indoor, racquetball, I have a value. And like I said, it's a business for me. So yeah, I do want to get paid, and regardless, I do bring a certain excitement to the tournament, even if it is outdoor. But for the most part, I mean, I think that, it's tough because, because of the person that I am in racquetball, it's tough probably for people to hear that I just want to go and have fun. And that's the truth. I want to go have fun, but I deserve also, I believe, to get paid for it too. And that's just the way that I feel. And really, if you look at it, I really have everything to lose. I really have nothing to gain other than really a dollar figure for me. And that may sound bad or come across bad, but, remember, if I go and I play singles and I lose, no one's going to be talking about how I've never played outdoor racquetball before. right? Everybody's going to be talking about the fact
Very
that I
true.
lost and that am I really the greatest player? And, and so, regardless of what people think, I got to also think of that side too. Nobody likes to hear bad things said about them or belittle their achievements, not really being educated on how I got there and what it took to get there. So putting yourself in that line of fire and putting yourself, in that position, it's very hard. And I think anybody would agree with that.
I do agree. I mean, you never see Tiger Woods going for an appearance because he feels like it, or Michael Jordan, or any athlete, to be honest, and it doesn't matter their relevance. So one of the comments that I read online during this, banter, was from the great Marty Hogan, and I spoke with him yesterday. He did reiterate to me that he was 1,000% joking when he said that you would lose and you would be embarrassed and all that other jazz. I'm paraphrasing, but he did say to me personally that that was just to rile the troops up, so to speak. And he thinks that you could win an event just on your sheer talent alone. What's your response to his quote and his Facebook post?
Well, first of all, I didn't know it was a joke. I mean, obviously Marty has ways to get a hold of me and message me, and I never got anything. So it came across as joking to me a little bit, based on the fact that Marty's always really come to my defense in a lot of situations. He's always had positive things to say about my game. And so it was really out of character for Marty for me to see something like that, which I immediately took it as he was joking. However, when you don't hear from somebody and they have the ability to text you or call you, you tend to kind of lean to the side of, well, maybe he was telling the truth.
Uh-huh.
But regardless, that's just, I guess, part of me is that's just an example of what I was talking about earlier, is that regardless of if it's joking or not, I think that it's important that, I don't go on anybody else's page or posts, and I don't post anything negative. And maybe sometimes I do have negative things to say, and maybe sometimes I do have sarcastic things to say. But, you know, great players like Marty and Cliff and Sudsy, when they put something out there, it's important to people and it holds value. And so whether you're joking or not, I think that the way that it could have been done better is that if he just let everybody know that he was joking.
Yeah.
But listen, I, I'm used to stuff like this being said about me, whether it's joking or not. And I'm used to this controversy of who's the greatest and who's not. But I promise you one thing: you'll never hear me and never have heard me say anything bad about any past champion or question anything of their accolades or whatever. I know that where their career ended, I know that they all would say that they worked as hard as they could and they accomplished what they accomplished, and they deserve it.
Okay, well said, well said. So again, if you were still in the if stage, if you were to play in the three wall in Vegas, would you play singles or would you just play doubles?
I think that right now I would just play doubles. If I play doubles and I enjoy it, then maybe next year I'll think about playing singles. But I think it's absolutely ridiculous to think that I'm going to get in there and play singles against guys that have been playing for 10, regardless of 10 years plus years, whatever, regardless of who I am.
Mhm.
I think that I also got to look at it realistically, and you know, personally, I do believe that I would go and win, but it's not just about that, unfortunately. And because of the clout that I have in racquetball, it's not about that. It is about, people unfortunately made this about winning or losing, and actually there became a point where I didn't really even want to do it anymore because I didn't really think it came across the wrong way. It's like, you have outdoor people puffing their chest out and you have indoor people puffing their chest out, and this guy's better and that guy's better. That's not unity. And that's not what this was all about. This was about bringing the racquetball community together and giving some sort of light to a sport that really doesn't have anything right now and doesn't have any legs. And I thought that, racquetball could benefit from it. I thought that I could benefit from it. I thought that, everybody really could walk away benefiting from it. But it's really, in my opinion, it's really sad to see just the controversy around it and just the things that are being said around it. I feel like, we should embrace this potential opportunity. If it was me or if it was someone else, I would be saying the same thing. I think that it doesn't make sense to segregate outdoor racquetball, indoor racquetball, because when we hear about somebody getting cancer in racquetball, it's not about whether you play indoor racquetball or outdoor racquetball. It's just the racquetball family. And that's how I wanted to treat this. And it seems like that's kind of been lost, and it's kind of turned into just a circus, really,
Well, again, going back to what I said in the beginning, it's a game that you haven't practiced, you don't know all the rules. It's a really hard situation to get in. So I definitely would like to believe that doubles would be more enjoyable for you and less stressful.
And that's the point of it, right?
Yeah.
When I first started even entertaining this, my thought was that I would play, doubles, open doubles, and then I thought about pulling in, an older legend, and playing some Centurion and making it fun, and in bringing in a legend and someone that maybe hasn't been around the game for a while, and or maybe has. I mean, I just think that it would be very exciting. Obviously, me playing singles is obviously probably the most exciting, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make sense for me at this time. But I'd love to play some doubles, and if there's an opportunity to play with a legend and Centurion, I think that I'd probably take that too. And I'd like to have time to hang out with all the players and just watch some matches and maybe do a little commentating. And I don't really want to make it. I don't really want to make it all about winning and just going and winning. I've done that enough in my career, and I just want to have fun with it, with racquetball for basically one time in my life, and not, and not have to really worry about winning or losing. And like I said, I think everybody walks away happy.
Well, I heard Charlie Brumfield is actually going to be, he was confirmed at the event that I saw online. So that would be something else. So, Kane, you play the indoor game with such intensity. Every time you're on the court, I mean, it's pedal to the metal. It appears that all the great players in every single sport, that's the one thing that all you guys have in common, is that intensity, that the desire to win and the win at all costs type thing. If you played in Vegas, will your mentality stay the same, or would you just be playing to entertain the fans?
Be playing to entertain the fans. That's where my head's at, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be fun. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I started playing racquetball when I was 2 years old. I started competing when I was 6 years old. So, and I competed my whole life. And I don't know what it's like to go to put a racquetball racket in my hand and just go play for fun. I don't know what that's like. And I tell the guys at the club that I play with all the time, you guys may feel like you're envious of me because of what I do, but I'm also envious of you guys. I don't know what it's like to just come to the court and just have fun, and, I remember a long time ago, I used to play racquetball with a guy that I always thought it was funny because I'd always ask him if he wanted water, and he'd always have Crown and Coke in his bag, and I always laughed at it, but not that I would do that, but that's I never could relate to that kind of mentality, and so I'm trying my hardest to use outdoor as that, and I'm sure at one point it's going to come to me playing singles, but this isn't the year, and let's have an even playing field. When they all come play indoor racquetball, it's an even playing field. They've been playing, so give me the same opportunity, right? Don't just throw me to the wolves because you just want to see somebody beat me, because that's what it feels like. It feels like it's just kind of more of a witch hunt to just see me lose because I barely lose in indoor,
We might have to have like a tournament that composed of one round in indoor, one round in outdoor, one round in one wall, one round in pickleball. Who knows, right?
Hey, that sounds pretty exciting, actually.
I know. I've spoken to many people who used to be at the top of their level, and that's the same thing that people had said, that it's hard to go when you're at that level to just recreational, because I didn't understand it. I said, how do you not, like, I was 41, I got back into racquetball. I'm like, I just want to have fun. And like, well, if you were ever here, it's very hard to just have fun. So I definitely understand your thought process there. To just go and have fun is kind of refreshing.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that, Kane, to be honest.
yeah.
A little less intense.
I think one of the things that people don't realize about me is that I've always been able to do a very good job of disconnecting um, racquetball, from my personal life. And I think that that's partly, a little bit to, has to do with my success as well too. Is that I'm not totally engulfed in it all the time. And I play hockey, I play golf, and I know when I have to be intense, and I know when it means something. And hockey and golf, those are getaways for me. And I think that, it would be nice for outdoor to kind of be the same for me. But, I do believe that when it comes to having a racquetball racket in my hand, I do believe that my time is money also too. And I'm a business. And so, and for the work that I've done, and for the accolades I have for myself and the clout that I have, I think that I should also be paid for it as well too. And I think that any other professional athlete in any other sport would agree with me as well too. And all
So
the greats that have come along in our sport as well.
true. So what's it going to take? Is it going to take a sponsor? Is it going to take someone who wants to play doubles with you? Is it going to take a friendship? What's it going to take to get you there?
Well, I think and maybe not a friendship, but I think both of those other things. I mean, I listen, I'm not going to go call around and ask for a partner. That's just not, that's not how I operate. But then again, if I don't get any text messages, maybe I'll ask a few people. I don't really know how to go about, you know, uh, getting a partner, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess
Do you have to
now
sign
I'm
up?
in a situation where the guy picking me as a partner could be potentially the smartest guy in the world, or taking the biggest risk in the world. I guess you're just gonna have to see if you decide to pick
A
me.
flip of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that I'll do pretty good, and I like to think I'll pick it up, just fine. But like I said, it's both. It's also a dollar figure. And, I feel like with all the controversy about me winning or losing, I'm really not getting paid to win. I'm actually getting paid to potentially lose, because I've never played. So
Well,
a very interesting position to be in.
Well, I mean, I know that a few sponsors have reached out to you because we spoke. Getting texts now on that same scenario, so I'll forward them to you. That there are some potential sponsors that are looking to bring you there. So now that we know what it's going to take to get you there, Kane, I kind of have to say, are you going? Are you going?
I guess, look, if all the stars align, I'll go. There's no reason for me not to go. I'm itching to play and have some fun, and and hang out with my racquetball family too. It's been a long time since I've seen all those guys. Rocky, Alvaro, De La Rosa, all those guys, and there's been guys that I haven't seen for years. So, it'd be nice to go. And if all the stars align, I hope I can make it there, and hopefully, we can work something out, and all sides be happy, and it be what I envisioned, and it just being a good time, and a time that racquetball can come together.
So there are people in the chat box saying, "What's the dollar figure?" And for the fans, I mean, guys, that's a very unrealistic question to put out here on the air. I think if you're looking to have Kane come to this event, Kane, how should they get a hold of you?
Well, I mean, you can obviously, message me on Facebook or Instagram on my page, Kane Waselenchuk, obviously. Um, Kane at kingkanerb.com. You can do that as well. But I think it's important to realize too that if somebody steps to the plate, it's really nobody's business what I get. It really is, and that's what I believe, and just because of who I am doesn't mean that everybody gets to know my business. And so, if somebody steps up to the plate and he wants to disclose what he gives me, there's nothing I can do about it. But you won't hear it from me because I think that that's a personal thing, and I think that really no one needs to know, and I think it's irrelevant. I think that, and as far as anything, I should be getting the most. I'm the best player in the world, so I should be getting the most, in my opinion. And I set the precedent. I don't think people realize that either. I set the precedent. If I go there and they give me $1,000 to go, does the next guy come along and get more than me? I don't know. Probably not. There's also that to think of too. I don't want to. It's not just about me when I make these decisions. It's about all the pros. Even when I'm signing contracts, same thing, right? I'd like to think I set the precedent. So.
Well, one of the IRT partners, our towel timeout, everybody knows him, Mr. Frank. He's Frank Catalano. He's texting me left and right, and he's putting the cash buckets up. So that's a conversation to be had. So, Kane, I'll tell you this. If you're there, I'm going just to watch. So I agree with you when you say you bring value, because it's an event that I've never been to ever. I don't know the rules, but if you're there, I'm going. I can tell you right now. That's a promise. If this does come, if the sponsors step up and you're going to make it, will you just post something? Do you want to come online and say it? When could we have a definitive answer?
Yeah, I'm not really going to do the LeBron route, I don't think. I'll just probably put it out on my page, or I'll allow, the outdoor racquetball. I'll obviously probably discuss it with them, and we'll probably do something together. I don't want to overshadow outdoor racquetball or anything like that. I'd like to, do it together if possible, and make it the best that it possibly can be.
Well, we here at the IRT, we want to see our players strive in whatever they do, Kane. Any final thoughts before you go?
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me this platform to talk about it. Obviously I thought about, I read the stuff on Facebook and I thought about responding, but I've learned in the past that really gets me nowhere. So, I have this platform, and and this is the first time I've kind of used it for something like this, and I think that I'm happy with the way that I went about it, and I look forward to potentially being out there on the outdoor court and being with everybody and seeing some old friends, meeting some new friends, and just having a good time.
Absolutely. Well, Kane, thank you so much for your time and your professionalism. Again, like you said, you can't win the social media war. No one comes out on top. No one.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Kane, thank you so much for stopping in tonight. I hope that the stars do align and you're there. And that's me talking from personally. And like I said, if you're there, I'm going. I wish you the best of luck, Kane. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see everybody in October.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for this special edition of Outside the Rally. Special thanks for Kane Waselenchuk for giving us his time tonight. And as always, our producer, Mark Gibbs, this doesn't happen without him. I just want to remind all the fans out there, we'll be talking to 7 players, all from Mexico, Wednesday night, 8 p.m., right here on Outside the Rally. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.